Back at it again with the Sandstorm team. What is up, guys? This time I see my opponent has a Togekiss, which I'm super excited about. Togekiss is one of my favorite Pokemon. I used to use him all the time in Wi-Fi battles, so I'm very excited. But I also see that there's a Galvantula, and I know that a lot of people really like to lead with Galvantula, so that actually makes me feel comfortable using my Hippowdon as my lead. So let's see what happens. So yeah, he leads with the Spider, and I bring out my Hippowdon. And he goes ahead and uses Sticky Web, which I'm not very happy about. I really don't want my Pokemon slowed. And I start stockpiling, and in a moment you guys are going to see that that's pretty much a mistake. So he Toxics me, which I am pretty pissed about. I really don't want this Hippowdon Toxic. It completely ruins his stall. So I go ahead and stockpile again. So I decide to go for my own Toxic, but he switches out into his Gengar. So that is a completely wasted turn. What I should have done was I should have Toxic'd his Galvantula from the start and then stockpiled, because then his Galvantula would be poisoned and I would still have the same amount of stockpiles going. So I decided to get that Gengar the hell out of here, and he switches back into his Galvantula, but I know that he's just going to bring that Gengar back out. So at this point I'm starting to realize I can't really touch this Gengar. This Hippowdon is pretty much useless against this Gengar. I stockpile a third time, that's pretty much a turn wasted. I should have just gotten out of here. But I don't really mind the Shadow Ball damage, but I know that that toxic damage is going to completely destroy me no matter how many times I slack off. So I need to get out of here. So I switch out, and I bring out my Tyranitar, expecting that Shadow Ball. But he doesn't Shadow Ball, he Focus Blasts, and I am so glad that that Focus Blast missed, because if that thing would have hit my Tyranitar, I don't know if it would have lived through that. So I got lucky, but I switch out, I get the hell out of there, and I bring in my Crobat. And he substitutes, which my Crobat does not care about, because this Crobat's ability allows it to bypass any substitute. So he's a perfect counter to substitute Gengar. So I Brave Bird that Gengar out of here. It's done. Back to the graveyard. So that is one down. It's looking good. So he brings out his own Tyranitar, and I'm expecting a rock move here, so I need to get out. I switch into my Ferrothorn. And yeah, he's Stone Edges, which it doesn't do too much. So I need to get my spikes up. And I wasn't expecting this Tyranitar to have a fire move, but he does. He Fire Blasts. But my Ferrothorn lives. But I know for a fact that it needs to get out of here, because it's not going to live through another Fire Blast. So I get out of there. And I bring in my boy Swampert. He Fire Blasts, and it just scratches Swampert. Swampert doesn't give a damn about fire. So here we go. So I know that I need to get my Stealth Rocks up. He switches into his Togekiss. So I love Togekiss, and I'm super excited, but I know I need to get this thing out of here as soon as possible. So here's the plan. I switch to my Hippowdon, I get that Sandstorm up, and then I need to switch to my Excadrill and completely destroy it with Rock Slide. But I start overthinking it, and I start thinking, well, what if this Togekiss has Roost, and what if it stalls me out, and what if the Rock Slide doesn't one-hit KO it? So I go for a Toxic, and it misses. So that's a big deal. That's a Sandstorm turn wasted. This Hippowdon is doing nothing. It's about to die. I need to get out of here. So I switch in my Excadrill. And yeah, the Air Slash doesn't matter. I'm going to one-hit KO this thing, so I go for the Rock Slide, of course. And look at this. It lives. It lives with 12% HP. So here I start overthinking it. I'm thinking surely he's not going to stay, and surely he's going to switch that Togekiss out for later. But he stays in, and I Sword Dance, and that was a huge mistake. So, and I lose Sandstorm. So at this point I don't know what to do. I'm not thinking right here. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. This Togekiss is about to destroy me. So I switch out. It's my Ferrothorn, and this Ferrothorn is going to do nothing. So it's just going to eat a bunch of Air Slashes, and it's looking really bad for me. So he Air Slashes my Ferrothorn, KOs me. So now we're even, 5v5. And so I know now that I need to completely reset. So I bring this Hippowdon out, and I get that Sandstorm up, and this Hippowdon's gonna die, but the Air Slash misses, and I get that Toxic off, which is really nice, you know, just in case he's planning on roosting up. So, alright, here we go. So I'm gonna do it right this time. I'm gonna bring this Excadrill out, and I'm not gonna use Rock Slide because I'm concerned about that 80% accuracy. So I'm gonna go for the safer Iron Head, which is 100% accuracy. So I bring the Excadrill out, and I know that at this point I outspeed it. So I go for the safe Iron Head, and there we go. The Togekiss is out, but my Excadrill dies from Life Orb damage. So that is 3 Pokemon down. So it is not looking good. So I bring in my boy Swampert, and he brings out Aggron, and this is a Mega Aggron, which, by the way, Mega Aggron looks sick, dude. That thing looks like a tank. So he gets his Stealth Rocks out, and I go ahead and Scald, and I get that burn off, and I gotta say, I get more burns than I really should, but I'm not complaining. So I Protect, and he roars me out of there. Alright, and then out comes my Tyranitar, and I don't really mind this, because A, this is a Mega Tyranitar, and B, I run Superpower on this thing. So I know that Superpower is super effective against 3 of his remaining Pokemon, so this thing is about a sweep. So I take out that Aggron, get out of here. 3 Pokemon left, he brings out his Regigigas, and honestly, I don't understand Regigigas. In my opinion, he's a really, really bad Pokemon. So I'm just going to stay in and keep superpowering this thing. I'm not really worried at all. So he has 14% HP, excuse me. So I superpower, and that thing is done. It did absolutely nothing. So he has 2 Pokemon left, and he brings out his own Tyranitar, and it takes a lot of Stealth Rock and Spike damage. So I'm here thinking I can finish it off with superpower, but it lives with 8% HP. So, and then he takes me out with the Earthquake, so that sucks, but I'm not worried, because this Crobat is max speed, it's going to finish this Tyranitar off. So I Brave Bird this thing, the Tyranitar is gone, and all he has left is the Galvantula. And I have a direct counter to that Galvantula, so I'm going to switch into my Swampert, of course, to completely wall any electric moves that he might have. So that is pretty much game. GG. It was a close match. Honestly, I thought I was going to lose, but I ended up having a great comeback. And so make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and have an awesome day, guys.